Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Alrighty, gentlemen, let's do it. If you're new to the channel, my name is Connor. Hello. I like to learn about history through YouTube recommendations. The original link to the video from History March, great channel, will be at the top of the description below. Right below that will be the link to the Discord. If you like to learn about history, click on it. It'll send you right over there. Hang out. Makes it easier for me to interact with you. Creates that watering hole atmosphere around history on YouTube and Discord I want to create. Pull up a chair, my friend. The more the merrier. Let's go. Hope you're all doing well. If not, that sucks. You'll be good soon, though. Don't worry. Emotions are fickle. Okay, so these are 11, 12, and 13, which I was told, and I can see clearly they are chapter 1, 2, and 3, sort of one big episode. So I will be doing all three of them today. If you can hear some stuff outside, sorry, we had to we were replacing some windows and stuff. I shouldn't take credit. My dad is doing it. And so sorry if you can hear some stuff like that. Let's do it. If you're not ready to learn, there's the door. Home ec is down the hall. You're in the wrong class. Get out. Make me some spaghetti or something. Kevin Malone, The Office. All right. Sorry. I feel like my ADD is in full force. I will try to... Let's go. Listen. These episodes keep getting better and better.
It is August 2nd, 216 BC. Somewhere in the hills south of the river Aufidius, two figures could be seen creeping through the undergrowth, surrounded by the sounds of the forest. Accompanied by his father, a young boy was learning to hunt. Spotting their prey, the father whispered, "Nature is to be feared as much as it is to be revered, and glory awaits those who temper it. Now you will become a man." As the boy trained his bow, the deer jolted and ran off. The pair looked around to see what startled the animal. As their ears perked up, screams. The sound of screams in the distance caught their attention. To their amazement, just beyond the brush in the plain below, taking place was what seemed like an enormous battle near the town of Cannae. I'm happy to say that for this video we partnered up with Backblaze, a secure online backup service that's streamlined for beginners.
Least I can do, guys. I do the easy thing.
User, Backblaze is my absolute favorite because of their strategy.
I say this a lot, especially with really great channels that I love. I love to be able to react to things that other people create. It takes so little effort, and I'm so happy about all the love and attention I'm getting from you guys, but I couldn't do it without the actual work that these great channels do, and so I will absolutely, any codes they have and advertisements, anything that helps their channel, I'm going to play through.
To keep everything simple. Even if you're new to data backup, you'll quickly set everything up. And if you're like me and you keep valuable files on your computer, protection against data loss will give you peace of mind. With a single plan, you get to back up unlimited amounts of data from a chosen location on your computer. And all this is done automatically, and you can also keep older versions of your files on their servers. And my personal favorite, with Backblaze's Restore by Mail feature, you can have your files sent to you on a hard drive by mail, which you can return to them once you copied your files, essentially free of charge. Best yet, you can try out Backblaze for free with no credit card required. Head to backblaze.com/historymarsh to start your 15-day free trial and get peace of mind knowing that your files are backed up.
Make sure to use the /historymarch. I'm sure he gets some extra cash or whatnot, so make sure to do that.
Securely.
Look at that map. Oh my god. Look at how detailed it is. And when he's
Hannibal, now spending his second winter in Italy, was commanding an undefeated army that inflicted losses on the Romans more severe than those suffered in the First Punic War, destroying several armies, marching across Italy at will, pillaging and setting the rich countryside ablaze, seemingly unopposed. Rome's scorched earth tactics of the year prior, intended to starve Hannibal's army, hadn't succeeded. His unchallenged presence in Italy was a humiliation for the Republic, and, at least politically, successes in Spain and Sicily were mere consolations. But Fabius's dictatorship, despite failing in its primary objective, provided Rome time to recover and oversaw the rebuilding of the field army, now under temporary command of Servilius and Regulus. However, feeling the economic impact of Hannibal's operations and fearing defections from its allies, during the winter, the Senate mobilized the Republic's resources. 2 new consuls, Lucius Aemilius Paulus and Gaius Terentius Varro, would hold joint command over the largest army Rome had ever put to field, with troops assembled and trained across Italy over the coming months. As recruits were organized into legions, commanding officers appointed, drills conducted, and oaths taken, a sense of trust developed between the men and their leaders, gradually building a confident and effective force that was grimly determined to destroy the Carthaginian army in Italy in 216 BC. 8 over-strength legions, each numbering 5,000 troops, were raised. 40,000 Roman infantry and 2,400 cavalry would form the core of the massive army. Along with each legion, there would be an equal number of allied infantry, 40,000 in total, along with around 4,000 cavalry. All told, a host nearly 87,000 strong was assembled.
I want to make a good time to pause, make sure. Just stop and look at this map. Just look. How good is that? I've seen a lot of good maps on YouTube history channels, but this is just so far superior to any other battle maps I've seen. And I'm taking the moment to appreciate it, and so should you.
A third of the Senate would serve in the army for the campaign of 216 BC, while most of the remaining senators sent their sons or relatives to join the legions. A very large number of equestrians, the Roman aristocracy, also joined, and numerous distinguished men served as military tribunes or as war counselors to one of the consuls. Of the appointed tribunes, 4 would go on to become consuls, while 3 out of 4 praetors that were elected that year were all former consuls themselves, with some of them having held field commands in previous wars. These were experienced men who reached maturity in the First Punic War, whose honor and tradition bound them to offer their services to Rome, realizing that the very idea of Roma Eterna was now in jeopardy. For Hannibal, being in hostile territory and supplying an army of some 50,000 soldiers and 10,000 cavalry horses, as well as servants, wives, and camp followers, was a never-ending problem that dictated the activities of a network of foraging parties and movements of the army. But thanks to Hannibal's logistical mindset, enough provisions were gathered at Geronium to last around 6 months, from late autumn 217 until spring of 216 BC. And now the year's crops were ripe enough to be harvested by his troops during campaign season. In early June, Hannibal left his winter quarters, descending from the Apennines into the fertile region of Apulia, with the Roman army following at a distance. After observing Hannibal's activities for several months, the 2 temporary consuls were asking for instructions from the Senate, now that the Carthaginians were on the move again, explaining that staying close to the enemy could force them into a battle. The Senate instructed them to wait until consuls Paulus and Varro arrived with their legions. This allowed the Carthaginian army to pillage their way through Apulia. For a third year in a row, Hannibal continued his campaign of violence to demonstrate Rome's inability to defend itself and its allies, in the hope that the continued perception of the Republic's weakness would cause defections and rebellions among its allies in southern Italy.
Love that. So there are leaders who, I'm not saying they do this certain way in every scenario, but Hannibal seems to be much more of be a little bit more ruthless and show how weak the enemy is in order to get people on their side. And other generals sometimes, it doesn't have to be in Punic Wars. It can be Napoleon or whatnot. Some generals and commanders tend to do the more, make sure to show your good side and maybe not plunder, and therefore make them want to join you that way. But in a place where they are in an established Rome, where they might be doing pretty well, like the Romans are doing pretty well, taking care of them, and so this might be a better tactic. Just wanted to point that out.
Therefore, seeking a decisive battle against Hannibal was a logical decision for the Romans. Prior defeats had not yet diminished their spirit and their resources and rebellions among its allies in southern Italy. Therefore, seeking a decisive battle against Hannibal was a logical decision for the Romans. Prior defeats had not yet diminished their spirit, and their resources were sufficient to continue the war. Upon joining the two temporary consuls, Paulus and Varro led the combined force south along the coastal plain to confront Hannibal. The two Roman commanders carefully scouted the route ahead, with riders patrolling the open country north of the river Aufidius to ensure that no ambush against them could succeed. But the Romans too faced logistical challenges. Supplying 87,000 men, their mounts and pack animals, was immensely problematic. And maneuvering a force of that size in close vicinity of the enemy presented further challenges. The clouds of dust thrown up by the massive marching column was visible up to 10 kilometers away. Meanwhile, after raiding Apulia for about 7 weeks, Hannibal was considering his next move. His scouts must have informed him of the large force he would have to face, and he knew that a Roman victory in a single battle could stop his invasion and end any hopes of winning the war. Without any allies in southern Italy, if his army was dealt even a limited defeat, it would have been difficult for it to survive.
Yeah, it seems like he's getting backed into a dead end.
Too far from its bases in Spain.
Not like you can even call up some, Carthaginian ships to come and have a retreat. That's like the heel of the peninsula, or the toe of the Italian peninsula. And if I was Hannibal, I'd be pretty. We all know the outcome of this entire thing. It would be much more knowing that Rome does succeed, but I don't know how exactly they do. But he's definitely getting backed into a corner.
And the tribes of Cisalpine Gaul, where supplies could be drawn from. Any significant losses of men in battle couldn't be replaced, and would diminish Hannibal's ability to plunder the countryside and wage war on the Romans. This would have resulted in lower rations and lack of payment for the troops, which would have certainly caused some of the contingents to lose heart and desert. Another rumor circled in Rome that Hannibal drew up a contingency plan, in case of defeat, to abandon the army and flee north with his cavalry, in the hope of cutting his way to Cisalpine Gaul. Whether or not this was true is impossible to say, but by mid-July, Hannibal captured the town of Cannae.
It's not, obviously they can't tell if it's true, but it's not a crazy thing. It seems like he's very much outnumbered and backed into a corner, and going north by yourself on a horse to fight another day might...
It wasn't the wealthiest nor largest settlement. While it wasn't the wealthiest nor largest settlement in the area and was now abandoned, having suffered in the last year's campaign, Cannae was used by the Roman army as a supply depot. Capturing it, along with gathering the produce from the surrounding area, secured plentiful provisions for the troops, which reduced the need to forage for some time. For the next several weeks, the Carthaginian general sat and waited for the Romans. Situated on a hilltop, Cannae was a good vantage point, overlooking the flat plain in the direction from which the Roman army would come. One of the Carthaginian officers by the name of Gisgo nervously commented on the size of the enemy army. Undoubtedly, he wasn't the only one in the Carthaginian army that was intimidated by the size of the Roman host. But, ever the master of mind games, Hannibal wittily remarked, "The thing that has escaped your notice is that, although there are so many of them, there is not one among them called Gisgo," thereby bolstering the
Winky face.
confidence of the men and diffusing the tension into laughter. Although there was nothing stopping the Carthaginian general from continuing south, where more plunder could have been taken, he was aware that the Romans were coming and that he could not be perceived as trying to avoid battle, for no community in southern Italy would defect to his side if he lacked confidence in defeating Rome. At Cannae, Hannibal's objective was to meet and destroy the Romans.
Oh, look at this. You son of a... Look at how it goes in. Mwah. God. All right, guys. I'll react to the next one next week. No, I'm doing it right after this. I'm going to post this one up. I'm excited. See you next time in like 10 minutes. No, like 30 minutes, I guess you'll see it uploaded. Not this one. You'll see this. See ya. All right, next time.